What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to r/EntitledParents. Just to let you all know, the winners of the 50,000 subscriber giveaway have been randomly selected and will be revealed at the end of the video, so stick around to see if you've been lucky. Anyway, let's get into this crazy story. We're not American, so you shouldn't celebrate your freedom. This is one of the more unusual encounters I've experienced. 4th of July, a patriotic homage to the country our ancestors worked hard to acquire from the British, only to have it ruined within years of our own people. A day where drinking beer, swimming and lighting explosives are always allowed, and this was not how I expected my holiday to end up. To have this story make more sense, the neighbours I'm talking about are British, so that should explain some things. I'm not looking forward to this as a British person myself, but hey, let's get into it. It's around 7:30 PM when we start the real party. My family and my best friend F's family all collab on this amazing day. We invited all our neighbours in the cul-de-sac and some more, so the party was really kicking up. Most of them came out to party, but one family, who were our next door neighbours, didn't like it. They had moved in less than a month ago, so we didn't know them that well, but we were going to try to hang out with them at this party. They declined after we asked them 2 weeks before, and nothing ever came of it. During the whole day, they were flying a Union Jack instead, which is fine because they're not American, but it is pretty stupid. Anyways, at this time, we started getting the fireworks ready. Someone from the party bought at least $500 worth of fireworks, and they had loud ones. One of the first things we lit were 2 boxes of Saturn rockets with 200 shots in them. Needless to say, it was loud. So loud, in fact, that our European neighbour finally came out to join the party, but not in a way you'd want. Quick note, I added some extra British slang. Well, I'm gonna enjoy this, aren't I? Entitled Dad. What the absolute bollocks is going on here? Who here is in charge? Now, nobody really knew who this guy was, so they directed him to where me, my best friend, and his dad were at. At first, we didn't know who it was, but we guessed who by the angry expression. Well, howdy there, neighbour. I was hoping you'd show up. Show up? I'm here to put an end to your kerfuffling. You're all a Mickey. Shut it down now. Whoa, chill out, neighbour. It's just some light fireworks. This happens every year. Every year you disrupt your neighbours who are trying to get some sleep? I want this all to stop now. Throw your party another time. Well, it's not exactly a party. It's the 4th of July. I know you're from Europe, but in America, I know about your argy-bargy history. You celebrate how you're better than our country by doing crazy acts like this. If you don't like it, then buzz off. It's our party and half the neighbourhood is here. We're not going to stop unless we absolutely have to. The entitled dad merely scoffed and stormed back to his house. We made nothing of it and continued with some mortars and sparklers all around. Not even 30 minutes have passed before 2 cop cars come rolling down the streets, and they had their lights on and sirens blaring. My friend's dad said that the entitled dad must have called the cops, so he went to go deal with it. Hey officer, is this about the fireworks? Yes and no. You do need to put the fireworks away, but we also got a complaint that someone at this party was physically harassing one of your neighbours. That would be me! The entitled dad comes running through us, but he looked very different this time. His face was darker, but with limited light, it was hard to see what it was. This young man right here, he points to my friend. I asked him who was in charge, and he beat me up. Oh, the pain. I'm bruising over his fists. Calm down, we'll get an ambulance to check you out and... Wait a minute, I didn't hit this guy. He came over to talk to us 3 and start screaming at us because we had lit fireworks and our party was against his nation and stuff like that. Does anyone here have anything else to say? Me and my friend's dad both said the same story to the officer, while the entitled dad was ranting on and on about the party and how we were terrible to him. Then we all came back together and the officers speak up. Alright, so based on what we heard, you, points to the entitled dad, are either faking your bruises or did something else. We're gonna check that out later. As for this party, just keep the noise down and put the fireworks away. We don't want to come back to have to break this party up. Yes sir, we went ahead and had someone put them away, so there shouldn't be any more fireworks. The ED tried to make up more excuses, but the police weren't having it. They shined a flashlight on his bruise and didn't even have to poke at it or anything to tell it was makeup. They wrote him a ticket and just as they were about to leave, we heard a loud boom. The The entitled dad's yard was on fire and their tree went up like a match. Almost immediately, neighbours on both sides ran over and started grabbing their water hose to douse the fire and put out as much as they can. One officer radioed in a fire truck and the other went through the party to examine the damage with the entitled dad. "What did you wickets do? I told you they were bloody reckless. They went and set my bloody house on fire." Some little kid, maybe 9 or 10, ran out of the crowd and to the entitled dad. His hands were bleeding, so my friend's dad ran over to his house nearby to grab a first aid kit. The other officer saw what was happening and used his radio to call for an ambulance, while my friend's dad ran over with the kit. Both him and the officer checked out his injuries, and it turns out that both the little boy's hands suffered third-degree burns, and one of his fingers had a major cut down the side of it. At that point, the music had stopped, and everyone was trying to figure out what was happening while the yard was being put out. The ambulance and fire truck show up not too long afterwards, and we all start taking statements. As it turns out, the little kid belonged to the entitled dad, and the firework that lit the tree on fire had belonged to the entitled dad as well. ED was charged with child negligence, false police report, disrupting the peace, and I think a count of arson. After everything was finally done with at like 11 PM, we called it a night and packed up. Edie's wife went to hospital with their son to make sure everything was fine, while Edie himself was put in the back of the police car as they drove off. I'm not exactly sure how you arrest a foreigner, so someone let me know. Well, I'm pretty sure that if you break any law of the country that you're in, whether you're a foreigner or a native, you're more than liable to be culpable for what you just done, so he can be arrested just fine. This morning, as we go outside to clean up the rest of the garbage, we can actually see the yard. All their grass was black and brown, which means they didn't water it, and the tree was solid black with no green or brown anywhere. The actual house itself seemed to be okay, apart from some fire singers on the roof where the tree hung over. Moral of the story, if you give a kid a firework, expect him to ruin a massive party. As I was writing this, I get a call from my friend. He said that his dad found out that little kid lost 3 of his fingers because lots of firework shrapnel ended up in his hand somehow. We think what happened is the kid lit a mortar and must have put it in wrong in the tube, or buried it and then lit it, or just something else. Either way, we do know it was a mortar because of the sound, but we can't figure out why it happened. As for the entitled dad, his wife came over and apologised like crazy for his behaviour last night. She told ED that doing it was a stupid idea, but his words were, "You have to show those dumb Americans who's really in charge still." Just from that alone, I don't think our British neighbours will be staying long. Good luck selling a singed house. Well, thank you very much to this stupid British man for tarnishing the rest of his nation. I can assure you that the majority of Brits are not that stupid. Now, I think it's about time I reveal the winners of the 50,000 subscriber giveaway. We had over 4,500 entries, but in the end, there were only 5 winners. So congratulations to these guys who you can see on screen right now. You will each be sent a $20 Amazon gift card as a celebration of such a big milestone. If you didn't win, don't worry, there will be opportunities in future. We are growing so quickly at the moment, we are already up to 57,000. Remember, as soon as we hit 100k, you will get a full face reveal and maybe an even bigger giveaway, so let's push for that milestone as quickly as we can. Now, I don't usually do this, but I came across this really short but hilarious Entitled Parents story, and I thought I had to just chuck it into this video as a bonus. No sexy times for anyone at this party. Title might be a bit misleading, it will be cleared up though. So, my husband and I were invited to EM's kid's first birthday by EM's husband. It was all well and good until EM gave us the rules a couple of days before the party. They were normal rules, no drugs or alcohol, decent attitude, except for one rule. It said anyone attending this birthday party must not have had sex for the month prior and must not have sex for a week after. Now, my husband and I were weirded out by this, since it was almost all adults attending, most were married. My husband and I were no exception, and like any normal married couple, sex was a thing we had. We decided not to go, since us going would break that rule. On the day of the birthday party, EM sent out a group text to us and a bunch of other people asking where we were. A good amount of people said they were breaking that rule. EM got mad at all of us for being sinners and blocked all of our numbers. Now, here's the funny part. 2 weeks later, she was found to be 5 weeks pregnant, breaking her own rule. Now, if that doesn't sum up entitled parents, I don't know what does. Anyway, that is the end of today's stories. If you enjoyed them and want some more, click on the end screen right away if you can't get enough of r/entitled parents. Other than that, congratulations to the winners once again, and I will see you all tomorrow with some more Reddit stories.